Namaskar, very warm welcome to all our viewers and learners in this live phone-in session of CIT NCERT. I am Renu Bhatt with you all, and you are watching us live on PMeVIDYA channel number 5 and on our NCERT official YouTube channel. Dear learner, in this special session of teaching learning intervention for inclusive classroom, we try to enhance our knowledge towards inclusive classroom setups. So let me tell you the topic of this session. Our topic is Robinson Crusoe discovers a footprint. You must be curious to know who is Robinson and how he discovered a footprint. This is for 5th standard English student, and we have our expert with us. But before we meet her, let me introduce our sign language interpreter to you all. You are Miss Payal Saini. Very warm welcome, Payal. And dear learner, it's time for us to meet our expert. You are Miss Kulvinder Singh. You are TGT English from Sarvodaya Kanya Vidyalaya, Vijay Enclave, Delhi. Very warm welcome, ma'am.
Thank you. Hello.
And dear learner, it's our live phone-in session. Your participation is very much important to us. You can call us. You can even drop a mail also. You can call us on our telephone number, that is 8800 440 559. Either you can drop an email at our email address, that is dth.class5th@cit.nic.in. And in case you have joined us through our live streaming, that means you are on our NCERT official YouTube channel. Go to the live chat box and drop your comment out there. Our expert will be happy to answer all your queries and doubts and questions. So ma'am, let's quickly begin this session, and I'm very curious to know who is Robinson, ma'am, and what he is doing in this story.
Oh, that's a great question, Renu. But before I move on to who is Robinson, I would like to ask you a question.
Okay.
About sharing your feelings. That how would you feel if you are left alone somewhere?
Okay. I might enjoy in few first hours, but maybe later I feel alone because I'm very talkative.
Okay, so means you are feeling that you are there lonely just for a day. I'm not talking about a day. What if you are lonely at some place, not for few days, not for few weeks, but for many years?
My God, ma'am, it sounds scary actually. It's actually very scary and horrible feeling to be alone in a place where we don't know anything.
Yeah. Same. Means if you ask about my feelings, I'm not that talkative. But still, being lonely is scary for me as well.
It's a worst feeling.
It is very painful because you have no one to talk to share your feelings, to share your joys, sorrows, pain. So it is actually very scary. And Robinson, you know, Robinson had this feeling. He was left alone on an island.
Okay.
Not for a day or few weeks, but for many years. And he suffered a lot. And Daniel Defoe, in his novel, wrote about Robinson. And this story is about Robinson. And here we have our character, Robinson Crusoe.
The main character of
the character of the story. Now, this story in this English textbook of class 5 is an adapted version that has been taken from the novel by Daniel Defoe. So, to know about this creature, means you must be wondering, our viewers must also be wondering that how come when being alone is so painful, then why was he living all alone?
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is the main question.
For so many years even. And when this chapter starts, he had been living on an island. We'll talk about the island as well. That he had been living on an island for many years all alone.
And how he reached there?
Yeah. So to know that how he reached there and why he was living all alone there, we'll just have a glimpse of the story beforehand, that what happened earlier. One day he was sailing on a ship with his mates, and as this is an inclusive class, we must tell our students what a ship is, because maybe some students who are not living besides the coastal line, they might not have any idea about the ship. So over here you see, I have got this model of the ship. This is a wind chime, but we just have to This is the sailing ship on which Robinson was traveling. He was sailing. Now, this ship, these sails, they help. For our students, we can show it on the video as well.
Okay.
So, in video, if it is possible, we can show it to them on the video that how a ship is sailing. And for our students who cannot visualize, we can see that they can have the feeling by touching it. They can touch it, they can feel it, and they can have an idea that what a ship is like and how these sails work. In a video, we can also show them that the sails are working mechanically, manually.
But ma'am, that won't be possible for us to play a video right now, but I guess this the model of the ship is enough, right?
Yeah, it will be good, and everyone can have a look and learn with this. So this is good that we can show this model, and students can explore it on the YouTube. They can see that how a ship works. So these sails, they help in the movement. When there are winds, they are being modified. That how these sails are helping to change the direction and to move the ship.
Right.
So all our children, they can use this. And you can keep it over here.
Yes.
Okay. So one day when he was sailing, then all of a sudden there were huge storms. You know storms? Loud winds. We had storm yesterday as well, and all trees, when it is on land, trees fell off. Things fell off from the roof everywhere. But when it is in sea, it is huge.
And
there are huge waves, and the sails stop working. The sails can't work. The ships, they lose their directions. And what happened? The ship wrecked. It was a shipwreck. The ship sank in the sea. And the only survivor was Robinson. Robinson saw that everyone drowned there. But it was dark. When it was, there was a storm, and that too at the night time, it was very dark. He couldn't have any idea. He started swimming without having the idea where the shore is.
Right.
And when we are talking about the island, I think we can. I have got this model so that our students they can have a look at it. That what an island look like, what a sea is. They can even feel it. That here is water, and they can here in the middle of the sea. Sea is very vast, very vast. Means you cannot see the shore, and in the middle of the sea there is this piece of land. On the land there can be some vegetation as well, and some sand as well. And there is on the seashore we have sand. If we put our foot over here or hand over here, we can have a print of it. So this is the place. He was moving in the sea, his ship sank over here, and he moved, he kept on moving, and he reached this island.
Okay.
Over on this island, there was no one living. He was all alone there. And you see, when there is no shore, no mainland over here, how he has to arrange for the things. He has to arrange for the things as well. So here he was living over here or alone over here, and from here the story that is there in the book starts.
Okay, that's quite interesting to know, ma'am.
So we can move on to our next slide.
Yes, ma'am.
So we can have a look. Next one. Yes, this is the island. You see, this is just a small model that we have seen now, and now in the picture over there we can see the vast sea and how small the island is looking.
Right.
This is the island where Robinson Crusoe was living lonely for many years. So moving on to the next. Now over here we have talked that he discovered a footprint. Now what is a footprint? What do you think is a footprint?
Ma'am, it is a print of foot. If someone is walking, like you earlier said, if someone is walking on sand, he or she might leave his footprints.
Okay. So whose footprint it can be?
Maybe animals.
Animals also, yes, they also have feet.
Yeah.
So it can be. So how do we identify that whose footprint it is? It is a human footprint or it is a footprint of an animal. How we actually can identify it?
Ma'am, because each individual have different footprints. I guess we need to know the basic difference between animals and human beings. That's
Yes, that their making is different. They have different
Exactly.
designs of their hand, foot, and by
small animal,
the
whether
way,
it's big
the way
animal.
they have their feet,
Right.
and the mark it makes is the footprint. So if I show you some these footprints, can you identify on our screen? We can see. Can you identify these footprints?
Ma'am, at least I can try. If we see the first one, it may look like maybe cow or something, maybe some bird also. But the second one is quite sure it's a tiger or lion, something like that.
Okay.
Third one is a bird, right? Maybe duck or hen, maybe chicken,
Yeah,
something
it
like
looks
that.
like duck's footprint. Yes.
Or
And
the
the
last
last
one is like elephant, ma'am.
Oh.
Big footprint. That's why I can figure out it's a.
Yeah. And this way, our children can also identify that whose footprints are these. And for our inclusive children, over here, you can see on the sheet, I have made the boundaries of this.
And this is for
And-
CWS. I mean,
Yes.
children with special needs.
Children with
students, right?
special need. If they cannot see, at least they should feel included, and you can touch them and you can
Right.
feel with your closed eyes that you can feel the shape of these. And over here we can tell the students,
It's in tactile.
not just to identify, but we can also inform them that yes, this big one is the footprint of an elephant. And on our next sheet, next slide, we can see all the answers of our these, that how we have identified the footprints. So it is deer, tiger,
Right.
duck, and elephant.
Okay.
And you got almost all
Almost the first,
right
except
answers.
the first one, right?
Yes, but it seems similar. So, okay. And now this is
Our
human footprint.
footprints.
Yes. How can you know? How did you identify?
Ma'am, because we even I have the same footprints.
We have the same footprints. It has toes. It has heels.
Right.
And this is the thing that Robinson was thinking in this chapter. That how means he was living alone and a human footprint. So he was very much amazed to see the human footprint, and we thought maybe I'm living alone, because as we have discussed that loneliness itself is painful,
Right.
and he was wondering that if I'm putting up alone, maybe it's my imagination that I am thinking of these footprints, maybe it is not there. Then he examined that again and he saw that yes, there's a footprint, it has toes and heel, so it is a human footprint.
Ma'am, if I ask about this footprint, how in inclusive classroom our students can differentiate or they can feel the footprints, ma'am?
Yes, this is a very nice question, because how they are going to feel it, and for this I have got it over here, this a footprint of human footprint in the mud. If you can see it in the camera,
And please a bit ahead, ma'am.
yes, can we see it in the camera now? That over here, right?
Right.
It is completely the shape of this human foot. There are toes, and in mud it looks like this only. It has a heel and certain toes, and you can touch it.
Yes, ma'am.
You can feel it. So
We can feel it by touching.
yes,
Okay.
and we can even ask the students to make their footprints and touch it and feel it. And even for our other students who learn differently, we can ask them to make this print by colors. And over here, because they are watercolors, we can touch them and feel them. That it has toes and it has heels. And students like colors as well.
Right.
So, and it involves their senses as well. And moreover, we can have a cutout as well for our foot. And by this, if we have a cutout, they can even measure it with their friend's footprint. And to have the feeling that how Robinson was feeling and what he was doing when he was measuring the size. There's an incident that he tries to measure the size of that foot with his own foot. So what was the feeling? How they were, he might have been feeling while doing that.
Right.
So students enjoy that. They understand and relate with the feeling of Robinson. This way, and we can have the handprints as well, and it brings the integration of different subjects as well, where they have the estimation and measurement.
Right, right, very rightly said, ma'am.
So, moving on to our next slide, that now Robinson is there and he has found a footprint.
Okay.
Whose footprint?
Now it's a wild guess, maybe some animal.
We don't know actually that whose footprint, but in the beginning of the story, it is written that he finds a human footprint on the, it is written that he finds a footprint on the sand. And what he did then? Now, for our inclusive children, we have this puppet. They can touch it and they can feel it, that how Robinson was looking. We can even make it in the tactile form and give the boundary to this. They can even feel the beard and long hair because no one was there. He
is the only person.
He was the only person over there. And over here, you can see how he might have been feeling.
Yeah, I can see.
And if we see in the picture, we can ask the students to read this picture on our screen as well. Now, can you see this picture? Yes. What actually do you think?
Ma'am, he is shocked.
He's shocked. How do you know that he is shocked?
And because of his facial expressions?
Yes, his wide open eyes and his mouth means he is in awe, bewildered, amazement that what is this happening? And he had a long stick in his hand. And what else? Do you notice his clothes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, what kind of clothes is he wearing?
Cloth, we can say.
He is wearing the clothes made of leaves only. Why?
Because he is in jungle.
He's in jungle. There are no shops.
Exactly.
There are no shops. There are no tailors. He made these clothes out of the leaves by himself. And his long hair, we can see. And as you have said that there is all greenery and he is all amazed, surprised. What is he looking at?
At the footprint.
A footprint that he found on the sand. There was sand. He went over there and to involve our students, we can ask all these kinds of the questions so that students get involved. That what they are looking.
How we can involve them, ma'am?
By asking these questions. Yes. In our next slide, you can see that we have all these numbers of questions. As I have already asked you, we can ask these questions. So students get involved into this and they try to answer. They try to make guesses out of it that what might have happened. Now, when he saw this footprint on the sand, he was actually amazed. What it means, you have guessed that it might have been some animal. So why he was amazed to see the footprint of an animal?
Exactly.
There could be animals. So why he was so amazed?
Because it was a human footprint. Oh, he's the only person. So
yes,
maybe
that can be the reason. Yes,
who is the next
because
one?
Animals could be there. And over here, if you see on this island, he has made his cave as well. From leaves and branches of the trees, and he had certain stones placed over here to block that, so that he can be safe over there. And you know, he used to call this cave as his castle.
Okay, castle.
Yes, because he was the only person
Right.
over there, and he used to think that I am the king of this place, and castle is a place where king lives. It is the house of the king.
Right.
So it is a palace. So he feels that this is my castle. Now, when he found a footprint on the sand, he was literally amazed. Maybe because he found a human footprint. He examined it thoroughly. That it has toes, it has heels, so it must be human footprint only. But I am living all alone over here on this island for so many years. So how come this footprint might have come over here? Just imagine your feeling. How would you be feeling if some footprint you find outside your house when you are all alone, and maybe there's a knock on the door when you are all alone in the house?
Yes, ma'am. Although he might be looking shocked, but somewhere he may be happy or something like that, because there is another person.
Oh, let's find out. Maybe yes, this could also be a possibility. But after examining the footprint,
He ran
here, you see, Renu,
Huh?
he examined the footprint, the more amazed and confused he became, and finally he's doing this. Now, what is this?
He ran away from there.
Why he ran away?
Maybe he's scared. That's why.
Why he was scared?
Because there was no one else.
There was
Except
no
him.
one else, and he's scared, and he ran away. He ran away to the island, to his cave, and while he was running away, you know what happened? He was still afraid that someone was chasing him,
Okay.
and he went there, running over to his cave, and on the way, all the bushes and trees that were coming on his way, he thought maybe that was someone, maybe someone is there, and he was running away. So why means he wanted to, you see his face and his eyes, we can see it on the slide as well, in the picture. We can have more clarity about this, that he is being more scared all the time. He ran to his cave, he prayed to God, oh God, please save me, mujhe bacha lo, means because he was afraid that there could be some savages from the mainland who could have come over there to kill him. And he was literally very much afraid that he didn't come out of his cave for 2-3 days. He was putting up all alone over there. He prayed to God, and when he didn't find anyone, you know what happened? He became more bolder. He gained some confidence. He gained confidence that nothing has happened, no one has come to look for me, so let me go and investigate once again. Let me see if someone is there actually or not. So he went over there, and he went up the hill. He went up the hill, and he saw that there's no one. But he was still afraid, and he came back to his cave. And he thought, let me go again and examine. Maybe that footprint might have been mine.
Yeah, that could be possible.
Maybe it is mine. But still, while he was going there, when he reached that place, he realized that I had not been, means if this is the place, and this is the place where he found the footprint. So he realized that I hadn't been to this place for so many days. So how could it be my footprint? It couldn't be my footprint. And as I told you earlier, that he tried to measure it with his own footprint. He made his own footmark besides that, and he tried to measure and compare. And he felt that it is not his footprint.
Okay, so
because it was bigger in size.
So can you please summarize this story in short?
Yes. Let us see it on our slides that I have summarized all the story. Means then he became more frightened. In the end, he became more frightened, and he ran back, and he said that this island has been inhabited, means someone else has come over here and
Okay.
putting up over here.
All right. So that means he is not the only one now.
Yes, he feels that.
Okay.
He feels that he is not the only one. And now I have summarized this story because at times there are few children who couldn't get the gist of the whole story. And if we give the summary to them, then we can they can really understand that what happens first and what happened after that.
Exactly, it was quite interesting story. So let's come to the keywords section now. As usual, we have 3 keywords for this session. Our first keyword is savages. Our second keyword is wandered. Third one is boulder. So those were the keywords, and ma'am, I'm quite sure you have homework as well, right?
Yes.
Can you please explain
Yes.
the homework, ma'am?
For homework, we have given 2 questions. That where is the story taking place? Where is the story taking place? It is taking place on an island. Yes. And there is one sentence in the story that I did not sleep that night. Why Crusoe could not sleep that night? When he saw that footprint and he went back to his cave, he was sitting whole night and he couldn't sleep. Why? Why? Because he was afraid. So this is the homework that students have to do. And there are some students who cannot do the write complete sentences. For them we have given the multiple choice questions. That where is the story taking place? Is it taking place in a garden, an island, or the fields? So students have to mark the right answer. And I could not sleep on that night. Why Crusoe could not sleep on that night? He was very happy, he was afraid, or he was in pain. What is the reason? They have to find the right answer from the story.
You have to take the right answer, and this is the homework submission format, dear learners. You have to write your name first, then your class, then your school name and address, then the expert name and date of the session, and that means today's date, and your photograph. That is completely optional. And in this format you have to send your homework at our email address, that is dth.class5th@ciet.nic.in. It's time for me to wrap up this session as we come to the end of this session. But before that, let me thank our expert. You were Miss Kulvinder Kaur ma'am. Thank you so very much for this interesting story and for your lovely TLMs. Thank you so very much, ma'am.
Thank you, Renu.
And before I wind up this session, let me thank our sign language interpreter, Miss Payal. To Miss Payal, thank you so very much, Payal, for your interpretation. And before I wind up this session, let me tell you the topic for the tomorrow's session. That is a different kind of school, and this is for 6th standard English student. So be with us, and at that very moment, me, Renu Bhatt, is taking your leave, but be with us on PM eVidya channel and on our NCRT official YouTube channel. Namaskar.